Trump cronies are clearing a path to deny housing to LGBTQ people. Numerous out candidates have won ballot races in Texas, and Tennessee lawmakers have come up with their worst plan yet to stop marriage equality. It is a really bad plan. We'll have the week's top LGBT news and how it affects you on Weekly Debrief. Weekly Debrief is made possible by everyone who supports the show with $1 or more a month on Patreon. Visit the link in the description or go to patreon.com/mattbaum to keep these videos going. The Department of Housing and Urban Development is responsible for guiding the nation's housing needs, ensuring that as many people as possible have a safe place to live. For years, the mission statement of HUD included the goal of building communities free from discrimination, and under previous administrations, HUD proactively banned discrimination in housing projects that included federal funding. But not anymore. This week, HUD updated its mission statement and took out the part about being free from discrimination. This is a big problem for LGBTQ people who are disproportionately targeted in housing discrimination. But that's probably not a priority for the person running housing and urban development. Ben Carson, who previously said that equal housing access for queer people amounts to extra rights, that LGBT issues are not important, and that people turn gay in prison. There's not much that can be done about the mission statement. The administration has made it clear that they don't feel queer people should have housing. But mission statement or no, multiple courts have ruled that discriminating on the basis of sexual orientation is illegal under the Fair Housing Act. Previously, HUD recognized those rulings and took steps to make sure everyone got a fair shot at a home. But now it may take more lawsuits to force the department to do its job. Meanwhile, there's a bizarre situation unfolding in Tennessee. Currently, Tennessee law allows adults to marry children. There was a proposed bill that would end that practice, which seems like it ought to sail through with little opposition. What could possibly justify child marriage? Well, this is going to sound strange, but this week the bill was stalled by activists who claim that ending child marriage would make it harder to end marriage equality for same-sex adults. The state's main anti-gay lobbying group, the Family Action Council of Tennessee, pushed heavily to stop this bill. Their claim is that because the U.S. Supreme Court forced Tennessee to allow marriage equality, and because Tennessee lawmakers would never have wanted state law to allow that, no marriages in Tennessee are valid anymore. Therefore, they claim, the state can sue someone to stop marriage equality, but only if the state maintains that none of its marriages are still valid. The problem is that passing a law to end child marriage would acknowledge that child marriages are valid, and that means that the same-sex marriages are valid too, and then there would be no more chance to sue to stop them. That all makes perfect sense, right? Child marriage is the price we have to pay for someday, somehow, hypothetically, stopping same-sex adults from marrying. Anyway, after an uproar over that decision, Tennessee lawmakers reversed course and will now consider banning child marriage in Tennessee. Things are going a bit more smoothly in New Hampshire, which just passed a bill that would ban discrimination against trans people. The new law, which just passed the House, would protect trans people from being fired or evicted or refused service on the basis of gender identity. Of course, there were the usual scare tactics about the bill letting men harass women in bathrooms. Obviously, it wouldn't do that. Organizers were able to overcome those fears with face-to-face time, meeting with legislators for coffee to explain what's at stake, and with forums entitled Ask a Trans Person Anything. That education campaign seems to have paid off, and now the bill appears likely to pass the Senate and be signed into law. Good news in Texas, numerous openly LGBT candidates won primaries last week, advancing towards runoffs and the general election. There are now 35 openly queer candidates running for office in Texas, including Lupe Valdez, former Dallas sheriff who's now running for governor. This is a major milestone for Texas, which has never had so many out candidates for office. Of those candidates who won, many did so with the backing of the Victory Fund. That's a nonprofit that supports queer candidates for office. This week's action item is to visit victoryfund.org and support their work. They're backing LGBT candidates across the country, so it's likely they're making a difference for you wherever you live. As always, let me know about stories that need covering in the YouTube comments and at @MattBaum on Twitter. Visit patreon.com/MattBaum or the link in the description to help keep these weekly videos going. And I'll debrief you next week.